The UAE-India Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement became operational almost 2 years ago now. The agreement is on track to increase the total value of bilateral trade in goods to over $100 billion over the next few years. Let's speak to Sanjeev Dutta. He is CEO of the India Business Council UAE chapter. Sanjeev, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. What's the impact of the free trade agreement having on trade at the moment?
There are two bits of impact that you see. One is the bilateral element, where we have a horizon of $100 billion in trade. But what is more important is it sort of opens up the bilateral and the multilateral corridor. It not only impacts UAE and India as largest trading partners, but also explores the opportunity in terms of other continents such as Africa, where the Indian trading community also uses Dubai as a gateway, with an access to a 65% GDP, global GDP, within a 6.5-hour flight radius. The CEPA for India is used as the marquee CEPA, which was done under 90 days. It's a little over 2 years old. It was signed on the 18th of February 2 years ago. And the numbers have already looked encouraging. And to see and underline the impetus of that agreement, the UIBC was formed with 19 of the largest names that the industry can guess from both sides of the fence. So all looking very good, and some key sectors as well.
Tell us about the key sectors. Which sectors particularly are going to benefit over the next few years?
The beauty of the CEPA is the fact that the governments, they came together and they laid the broad principles for the industries to work. Now clearly the key sectors have been identified as textiles, chemicals, precious metals and stones. And the idea of the CEPA is to focus the respective specialities to the respective geographies. Now take the example of precious metals, for example. India's specialization focuses on manufacturing of jewelry, whereas it requires a lot of bullion, which transfers itself from Africa through the UAE with the UAE-GD good delivery standard. So what really happens is you're looking at preferential duty rates, focusing your specialization in respective geographies where the overall trade flourishes.
What about some of the future trends you can see coming through here in the non-oil trade sector?
The non-oil trade sector has always been very encouraging over the last 3 to 5 years. As a matter of fact, there's a key focus on non-oil trade growth, and we've seen that come across, and that also sort of moves away in terms of reliance on any particular sector, which is the oil trade. The UAE and the region was synonymous with oil trade, but if you look at Dubai's GDP, it's totally non-oil based. So the oil is just about enough for its captive consumption. So I think it's all very encouraging in terms of the opportunities which lie ahead for the non-oil trade sectors.
This is probably a very busy time for you, obviously, at the India Business Council. What's your main role then for developing some of this business and trade?
It's about bringing the two communities together and identifying opportunities not only for trade but also for cross-border investment. Some of the largest names like Emirates, etc., have announced malls in Kashmir. One of our founding members, the KEF Company Limited, through its foundation, has announced a lot of investment and transformation in the education sector, for example. We've recently had the Prime Minister of India visit a couple of weeks ago, where in addition to the temple, the Hindu temple which was inaugurated, we've also announced the Bharat Mart. Now, as the name suggests, Bharat Mart is supposed to be an ecosystem for the SME and the MSME sector. And I think what we really need to focus on is, right now, through the UAE, there's about $1 trillion worth re-export which happens, but I think India's share is only about 6%. And I think the immediate horizon would be to grow that to some 15%.
Well, really good to talk to you about this, and we've run out of time, unfortunately, but Sanjeev Dutta, really appreciate you coming in. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure. Thank you.